My husband and I were reborn together, waking up in the same dingy, damp basement we'd rented right after graduation. We both silently acknowledged the situation without a single word about our shared past life. He turned and left, soon after heading overseas to develop his career with his childhood sweetheart, Sunny. I stayed here, continuing my job. 8 years passed. He became a successful and promising young CEO, his future bright with fame and fortune. Meanwhile, I was still working at the same old company. When we met again, he had his arm around Sunny's waist, looking at me, covered in mud with a mocking gaze. "Long time no see. What happened to you? You look like a beggar." I ignored him. Later, when a top executive in the industry embraced me, his face went pale with panic. "Chloe, what are you doing here with another man?" It was the university's anniversary celebration. Liam returned, now a successful and charismatic young CEO, the center of attention. As I entered the auditorium, everyone was surrounding him, showering him with praise. "Liam, you're the most successful one from our class now." "Absolutely. You're already a big boss of a publicly listed company at such a young age. I always knew you were capable back in school. You could finish a week's worth of work in 2 days. I heard you established a scholarship for our school too. Amazing. I should have worked with you back then. Liam is not only talented, but also very handsome. I heard your girlfriend is a rich girl. Tell us, how did you two get together? Give us some tips." Liam lowered his head, smiling faintly. "It's all about fate. Someone mentioned me. How did you and Chloe break up? I remember you two being inseparable in college, so lovey-dovey." Liam's brow furrowed, his smile faltering. "It just didn't work out." Everyone seemed to suddenly find something on the floor to be very interesting, and sensing his unwillingness to discuss the topic, they smoothly changed the subject to how well-matched Liam and Sunny were. After quickly cleaning off some of the mud, I walked in with my head held high. The class monitor noticed me immediately. "Look, it's our very own Chloe, the school beauty. Come over here, Chloe. Let's chat. What happened to you? Did you fall?" I politely exchanged a few words and turned to meet Liam's eyes. He was scrutinizing me from head to toe, his expression filled with scorn. He was wearing a custom-made suit, his hair perfectly styled, looking every bit the prince. Sunny and Chanel leaned happily into his arms. They looked like the perfect couple, a match made in heaven. In contrast, mud still clung to me, making me look rather disheveled. But I didn't care. I nodded to them in greeting and turned to talk to other classmates. "Do you guys remember Ethan?" Of course. He was the most popular guy in school, a celebrity-level hottie with money, and he was extremely smart, always at the top of our major. He's coming back to give a speech as an outstanding alumnus. I heard that since he took over his family's company, their business has doubled. So impressive. He's also donated a lot to our school. The new library was built by the Sterling Group. They gossiped while I looked down at my phone. The ceremony wasn't starting for a while. I messaged my driver to send me a set of clothes and went to the restroom to change. As I came out, Liam was leaning against the doorframe. Not wanting any interaction with him, I turned to leave, but he called out, "Still working at the same old company? How are you still such a mess after all these years? Couldn't even afford a car to get here. Falling flat on your face out there, that's quite embarrassing." I turned and met his gaze, replying firmly, "It's my business, none of yours." Liam's face contorted in anger. "Then stay in the gutter forever." He spat and stalked off. But halfway he turned back, a smug smile on his face. "Chloe, you're still the same as before, stubborn. But no matter how well you pretend, I know you're regretting everything." Regret? Looking at his receding back, I thought of everything that happened in my previous life. I married Liam right after graduation in my previous life. The early days were blissful, but it eventually fell apart over mundane matters. Before being reborn, we had a huge fight. The argument was about him wanting me to quit my job and move abroad with him for a new start. I refused to give up everything here. Liam smashed everything in the house, yelling like a maniac. I rubbed my temples. "What about our son, Oscar? What about our parents?" Oscar was our son. My parents had passed away early. Liam's parents were older. And he was the only child. His parents did not want us to leave home and go abroad to work. Oscar was still young and needed someone to take care of him. So, after getting married, we moved back home to work. The company I worked for wasn't large but backed by a big group and had good benefits. If I worked hard, promotion and pay raises were in sight. But to better care for my family, I focused most of my energy on our family life. It was hard work, but to be with Liam, to give Oscar a happy childhood, and to make sure our parents lived a good life, it was all worth it. And Liam's parents were good people. They treated me like their own daughter. I cherished this family, everything I had. But happiness was fleeting. Ever since Liam visited a college classmate's company overseas, he had been obsessed with developing his own career abroad. He thought he would have done much better than his classmate if he had gone abroad to start his business right after graduation. He would have earned a lot more money. But actually, our lives were not bad now. We had a 7-figure savings, a decent school district house, 2 cars, and no debt. But he was not satisfied. Liam's eyes were bloodshot, staring intensely at me. Don't think you can keep me tied down forever. My parents may be old, but they are healthy. They could even help us look after Oscar sometimes. They don't need us to take care of them at all. Let's take Oscar with us. Even if our parents get sick and need us, we can fly back anytime. Travel is so convenient. This thinking was naive. It wasn't that easy, being in a completely new environment, without any acquaintances. We would have to learn and adapt to a new culture, language, and society. By that point, we wouldn't even be able to take care of ourselves, let alone our child. It was also unrealistic to fly back anytime. We were trying to build our business. We couldn't just take time off whenever we wanted. I tried to reason with him, but he interrupted me the moment I spoke. Chloe, I'll ask you one last time. Are you coming with me? If not, then let's get a divorce. I was stunned. I didn't expect him to want a divorce over this. Liam, why are you so determined to go abroad? I just couldn't understand. He looked at me scornfully. Do you think we can achieve anything in this dead-end place? Even if you don't want to do it for yourself, even if you just want to live a comfortable life, you should think about Oscar. Do you want Oscar to end up like you? Following instructions and doing what others tell you? Being a slave for someone else your entire life? I was shaking with anger. Working here is not living a comfortable life. Liam, you don't need to go overseas to succeed. We can succeed here. Our current life is our family's foundation. Enough. Liam cut me off impatiently. If you're not going, I'm going. I shouldn't have married you. We have different ambitions. You like your comfort and are lazy. Not trying to do something more with your life. How did you become like this? You're not making any progress at work, and you look so slovenly, like a worn-out old woman. He packed his suitcase while yelling at me. I wasn't hearing these words for the first time. He had said these words jokingly before, but I thought he just wasn't good with words. Now I realized. The words he said were probably what he really thought about me. He probably thought I was a worn-out wife he was ashamed to be with. He dragged his suitcase and left. Afraid that he might get too emotional, I followed behind him. Suddenly something went wrong. He crashed into a big tree on the side of the road, flipping the car. I quickly got out of my car to save him, but I couldn't open the car door for some reason. The explosion was more violent than I imagined. When I woke up again, we had both been reborn. We both knew our previous lives without saying a single word, and he did not ask for me to get engaged again. Ignoring his parents' objections, he resolutely went on his journey to a foreign land. And I, just like in my previous life, joined the same company. Except this time I focus all of my energy on work. I won't have regrets with this choice I've made. On the way back to the auditorium, my husband called. I heard from Uncle Lou that you were helping a child get a ball and fell into a puddle? Are you hurt? Do you need to go to the hospital? He asked anxiously over the phone. The undisguised concern made my heart soar. I'm fine, I didn't get hurt. Don't worry. That's good. I'm a bit busy, I'll be over as soon as I can. Okay, no need to rush. See you later. I hung up, still smiling. I was still smiling until the class monitor called my name, saying the ceremony would be delayed for a little while. She urged me with a smile. Don't just stand there alone. Come chat with the other classmates, we haven't seen each other in so long. As I entered the room, Sunny was already waiting for me. Before I could speak, she handed me a glass of wine. Chloe, come here. Everyone gathered around them, praising Sunny's dress. This dress was bought by Liam when we were in Paris during the Chanel fashion show. It's supposed to be haute couture. I glanced at the dress. I also had one in my closet, just a bit different in the design. I didn't want to stand there and listen to their compliments or her boasting. I tried to leave, but Sunny clung to me like a leech. She insisted that I comment on the dress. Everyone there wasn't stupid. It was clear that she was deliberately trying to make things difficult for me. Some, seeing I wasn't responding, started to follow suit. Has our school beauty been staying in too much? She's so intimidated by a dress. Our school beauty is probably just a small-time employee. Maybe she doesn't follow these things. Chloe, we women should strive for independence and growth, not just lie down. People your age are driving luxury cars, and you're still riding a scooter and haggling with the market vendors. This school celebration is so extravagant. Anyone can attend, what fun! They were all subtly mocking me. Sunny smiled contentedly. All right, I just wanted to invite Chloe over for a chat. Nothing else. She said those words, but her eyes were full of provocation. I couldn't be bothered with these games and didn't want to talk to these petty people. I walked to the door, checking the messages my husband sent me. He was still worried about me and said he'd arrive soon. I messaged back telling him I was okay, and that he should be careful on the road. Felt so good to be cared for like this. Liam came over when I walked back. Chloe, I thought you'd just become a worn-out old woman because of age. I didn't expect you to be so petty after these years. You can't even comment on a dress. Are you willing to hide at home forever? So he had been hiding nearby watching the show. Sunny and I are engaged, we're getting married soon. After saying that, he fixed his tie. If you had come abroad with me to start a business, maybe we would have been married and had kids by now. You would be wearing designer labels and be beautiful, elegant, and graceful. Too bad. You were too stubborn. Your stubbornness has made you a failure. Someone who's looked down upon, mocked. Someone who has become insecure. I cut him off, saying casually, Congratulations. Liam's expression froze. Congratulations for what? Congratulations on your upcoming marriage. Wishing you happiness and health. Liam was furious. I have no idea why he was so angry. He gritted his teeth, glaring at me, and said, You better mean it and not curse us in your heart. I walked past him. If it weren't for the fact that I could hear my husband's speech today, I wouldn't have come here. Everyone was too much trouble. I went upstairs to find a quiet room. When I returned to the auditorium, everyone was looking at me strangely. I had no idea why until Sunny spoke. It's all right, it's just a piece of jewelry, it's okay to lose it. We shouldn't let this affect our classmates' relationship. Sunny's necklace was missing. It was in her purse, which she left upstairs. And I was the only one who went upstairs. Adding to the unpleasant incident with the dress, everyone assumed that I had stolen her necklace to retaliate. You're so generous, it's a piece of jewelry worth millions. I'd definitely find out who took it. Yes, some people are not only poor but also do such sneaky things. I frowned, my voice laced with annoyance. If you have something to say it directly. Stop talking in circles and disgusting everyone. Oh, do we disgust you? Maybe you shouldn't have done such things. A small freckled girl retorted. I walked straight up to her, looking at her with an unpleasant expression. She seemed startled, stepping back 2 steps. What? I've hit a nerve and now you want to attack me? Attack you? You? You think I would lower myself to attack you? You, she stuttered, pointing a finger at me. I reached out and pushed her hand down. Seeing that the atmosphere was awkward, others came out to mediate. Okay, it's the school's anniversary, there are so many classmates and professors here. Let's not make a scene. Sunny also spoke, feigning magnanimity. We're all classmates, let's not make this ugly. It's okay. I turned and looked at her hypocritical face, unable to resist rolling my eyes. Okay. What do you mean okay? This needs to be figured out today. I want to see who is trying to pin this on me. It's just a necklace, not some rare treasure. Sunny was triggered by my words. Her expression turned ugly. So, Chloe usually wears pieces that cost hundreds of millions. You'd never know that Chloe was so low profile. Others joined in, mocking. Low profile? She was just bragging. Looking at the mud all over her, she probably fell on her way here. How can someone so rich not afford a car? Don't say that, Chloe is just exercising. She just saved herself money from the gym. Everyone started laughing. Liam just came back from outside. What are you laughing about? Everyone's laughter stopped abruptly. Liam looked defeated, almost like he had suffered some kind of setback. After he saw Sunny, he quickly walked to her side and hugged her. He gently asked her what was wrong. Sunny leaned into his arms like a wronged child. She shook her head, but looked even more aggrieved. Others continued to shower her with praise. Such a beautiful couple. Liam asked again what had happened. Sunny looked at me, saying, "The necklace I just bought from an auction was missing." Chloe was the only one who went upstairs. There was no one else besides her. I didn't say anything at first, just said my necklace was missing, but she was being sarcastic. Sunny came out of Liam's arms and looked at me. She should pay for it. She's been working for so long, she can probably afford it, right? With just a few words, the couple had decided that I was the thief. How much is that necklace, Senior? 30 million. Everyone gasped. That's not cheap. No wonder it's so expensive if it was from an auction. Spending 30 million on a necklace, they're truly extraordinary. The praise made Sunny and Liam straighten their backs even more. Sunny cleared her throat. Actually, this necklace is an antique and will only increase in value. But we're all classmates, we shouldn't make this ugly. Liam watched me coldly. Sunny began to act generous. This amount of money means nothing to us. But for you, you probably haven't even seen that much money before. All right, if you apologize and be sincere, even get down on your knees to beg for forgiveness, we can consider this case closed. You won't have to pay for it. I scoffed. Just as I was about to retort, someone shoved me from behind. I lost my balance and knocked over a bottle of wine on the table. Coincidentally, all of the wine spilled on Sunny's dress. Liam immediately helped Sunny up. Chloe, what do you think you're doing? Someone in the back shouted that it was because I was jealous of Sunny, and the topic was brought up. Chloe and Liam used to be a couple. Now that Liam is successful and with Sunny, of course she's jealous. She's probably regretting things now that her ex-boyfriend is rich. Yeah, Chloe, how could she do that? Her character is terrible. A bunch of petty people. My temples throbbed with anger. Someone pushed me from behind. I didn't do it on purpose. Chloe. Liam interrupted me. I know, I'm getting married to Sunny soon and you're upset. But that was a long time ago and it was your fault. Well, it's all over. He made me sound like the one who had betrayed him. Liam frowned and said firmly, Chloe, what we had is over. It's never going to happen again. I suppressed my anger and said unhappily, what we had ended a long time ago and it's never going to happen again. See, she's still being stubborn. No matter what I said, they didn't believe me. I didn't want to argue with these fools, it was a waste of time. Just as I was about to turn away, Liam grabbed my arm. Chloe, you haven't apologized to Sunny. I suppressed my anger, not wanting to make a big scene. I told you someone pushed me, it wasn't my fault. I'm not apologizing. As for the necklace, I didn't take it. I'll call the police and let them investigate. Sunny pretended to be magnanimous. It's okay, Liam. It's just a necklace. Let her do whatever she wants. The group of petty people started to take sides again. Wow, that's the attitude of a successful person, so open-minded. Look at her and look at Chloe. There's no comparison. No wonder some people don't achieve anything in their whole lives. Just then, Ethan and a professor walked in. What are you all gathered around here for? Mr. Sterling is here. The crowd rushed to Ethan's side, flattering him. The Sterling Group was the leading company here. Ethan had created his own success and then merged it back into the Sterling Group, doubling their business. Everyone wanted to make connections with him. Although Liam had succeeded, he was a small fry compared to the Sterling Group. Liam's face went pale. He had just been the center of attention. Now someone had stolen his spotlight. His vanity was severely offended. Ethan was surrounded by layers of people. I worked my way through the crowd, finally reaching him. Ethan took my arm and asked me what happened. Before I could speak, the crowd started chattering about the events. Ethan looked at me after hearing their stories. Jealous of them getting married? I shook my head. Absolutely not. They're just imagining things. I was pushed and bumped the wine. Seeing my serious expression, Ethan laughed and pinched my nose. Silly girl, of course I believe you. By the way, how much did Sunny's dress cost? I'll ask my assistant to pay for it. Then he whispered in my ear. I'll use my pocket money and you can reward me later. Seeing how close Ethan and I were, the others sensed that something wasn't right. Liam's face turned even worse. Sunny's smile also became strained. It's all right, we're classmates, so we shouldn't let money come between us. I sneered. Stop using those high-sounding words, we don't have any feelings for each other. The truth is what matters. Ethan nodded in agreement. He stared at Sunny's dress and said, That dress, you have an identical one in your wardrobe, don't you? I nodded. He continued, Oh no, let's go back and throw it away. When I ordered it, they told me it was unique. Who would have thought there'd be knockoffs so quickly? Knockoffs? Everyone was shocked by that. Impossible, right? Sunny can buy a 30 million necklace on a whim. She wouldn't buy a fake dress. Yeah, it must be a misunderstanding. My mother-in-law was a fashion designer. Ethan had been following his mother around, looking at fabrics and workmanship since he was little. He could tell the difference between real and fake with just one look. It's not even a good imitation, it's obviously fake. Sunny's fake smile fell apart and she began to speak sarcastically. Mr. Sterling and Chloe are really close. Ethan nodded, his expression saying, You finally noticed. He made a call, and everyone was confused. We'll know the truth in about 5 minutes. The school's surveillance system was just completely replaced last month, and you can even hear the audio. Looking at Ethan's serious expression, I suddenly felt like all the events of today weren't even that bad. Others couldn't sit still anymore. They were worried they might have offended Ethan by flattering Liam. After all, no matter how capable Liam was, he couldn't compare to Ethan. Sunny panicked and said nervously, Mr. Sterling, don't create fake evidence just to protect Chloe. Ethan said slowly, Fake evidence is unnecessary, but you wearing a fake dress to demand compensation, that is quite evil. Sunny was speechless. Liam stood there with a cold face. The truth was soon revealed. It turned out that Sunny had orchestrated everything herself. She had put the necklace under my bag, and had told the short girl to push me from behind. What a waste, that dress, it's a Chanel haute couture dress. She's not worth it, she's just some little thing. Why would I spend so much money just to buy a dress? What if people noticed? That moron Chloe has barely traveled anywhere in her life. She doesn't know anything. And for the rest, those are just a bunch of sycophants. They're just as stupid as Chloe. I have money, I can put a bag of garbage in front of them and they'd still say it's top quality. Thinking that they can become rich by being friends with me, they can only dream. The girl was quick to agree with whatever Sunny said. After the video, Sunny's face was so pale it looked like death. She still wanted to argue, but no one would accept it. Look at them who have lived abroad, they're all so cunning. Honestly, Sunny looks bad in everything. Who would have known it was a fake? Even if it was real, she'd still make it look fake. You can't judge people by their looks anymore. Her heart is so black. Her face darkened with every comment. The atmosphere became very awkward. Liam lowered his head and couldn't tell what he was thinking. The professor came out to smooth things over. That was the end of the matter. Everyone started drinking again, pretending to be respectable. Next, we have an outstanding alumnus, Mr. Ethan Sterling, to give his speech. I became excited. My husband was going to speak. Later in his speech, he mentioned me. My wife, Chloe, is also a very outstanding woman. Our company couldn't be where it is today without her. These words officially revealed our relationship. Everyone was shocked. Chloe is married? And her husband is Ethan. Chloe is so low-key, she didn't say anything. Liam's expression turned strange. He looked at me with resentment, as if I had cheated on him. Ignoring the school leaders on the stage, he stood up and left. Sunny followed him out. After the anniversary celebration, I was surrounded by layers of people. I always knew you were low-key, But I didn't know you were this low-key. You and Mr. Sterling are a match made in heaven. Yes, you two are such a great couple. Yeah, why didn't you invite us to your wedding? We were classmates for 4 years, we should have congratulated you. Ethan was handling some work on the side. I didn't want to say much to them and could only respond insincerely. We didn't invite any outsiders to our wedding. Sorry, I have other things to do. The underlying message was clear. Everyone left, feeling embarrassed. Ethan finished his work. He put his arms around my waist and buried his head in my neck. Let me recharge, I haven't seen my wife for hours, I missed you so much. Mom said to get some fabric from Auntie's place when we go home. Of course we can. But I still have work to do. Would you like to come to my office or wait for me at home? I laughed. I'll go get the fabric and then go home. It's been a while since I've picked out fabric for clothes with Mom. Ethan's gaze was on the person behind me. That Mr. Liam has been staring at you. He complained quietly. Looking at him, I just found him so cute. But now I can only see you. That hooked him. Then give me a kiss. I stood on my tiptoes and kissed his cheek, then whispered in his ear. I love you. He was content and went to his office. I was just about to leave when Liam called out to me. His eyes were bloodshot. Are you really married to Ethan? I nodded, not wanting to say more. He punched a tree and let out a dull groan. I quickly took a few steps back, not wanting any conflict with this madman. He shouted, Chloe, why did you get married to another man without saying a word? How could you do this to me? His words made no sense, as if I had been unfaithful. Don't say that. We ended long ago. And you have your own family now. I don't, he said, his voice breaking. We're not together. This was all a show, I just wanted to make you jealous, wanted you to say you regret everything. It's all fake. These past 8 years you have ignored me. His words were tinged with resentment. I stepped back again, putting distance between us. After being reborn, you didn't hesitate at all to leave everything and go abroad. He remained silent. I continued. No matter what, we broke up. Both in our last life and this one we are strangers. All of the past grudges and entanglements are over. We have nothing to do with each other. You achieved your dream, and I have my own family. Let's not meet again. Hearing me say that we shouldn't meet, he became agitated. Chloe, I went abroad without hesitation to prove that my choice was correct. I sighed, feeling helpless. I looked at him and said coldly, You just wanted to prove that you were better off than me. If you knew about my situation today, you wouldn't show your face, you wouldn't have come to see me. You just want me to bow down to you and be a free nanny for you. Liam shook his head in denial. Chloe, I have thought about you every day for the last 8 years. Think about me? Thinking about how to make me regret things and beg for your mercy. He fell silent again. I laughed. Liam, after we broke up, I never regretted it. No matter what, it's all over. What's over? What about Oscar? He was our son, and you have simply erased him. Liam grabbed my arm, demanding, Chloe, what happened to your conscience? If I had no conscience, I wouldn't have saved you back then. I wouldn't have died because of that. Actually, in the beginning, when I was reborn, I felt very upset. We had been together since college, and had been married for 10 years. I truly loved him and cherished our family. That's why I had rushed to save him. Later I thought it through. We weren't compatible. Our pursuits in life were different, there was no point in forcing it. We had so many arguments because of work and trivial things. Each time I thought that we could work it out, but time proved that forcing incompatible people together would only hurt each other. All the love and hate from my past life was suddenly gone. Liam cried. This was the first time I had seen him cry since I had known him. Chloe, I don't understand why you didn't want to go abroad with me. You were alone and I was the only family you had, and Oscar. We were going to be abroad, what point was there for you to stay here? I shook my head softly. No. In the beginning, the reason I chose to stay here was for you. Liam was an only child. His parents didn't want him to be too far away. So, to be able to marry him, I stayed in this city with him. Later, I began to cherish our family. His parents were good people, they treated me like their own daughter. They were getting older and I was worried. I also didn't want Oscar to face so many unknown things at such a young age. Liam's eyes were unfocused, as if he was thinking about the past. Liam, did you really leave because you wanted to earn a fortune for Oscar? I think it was not that, it was because of your pitiful vanity. You couldn't stand seeing your classmates who had not been as good as you becoming successful. You should take care of yourself. Let's not see each other again. I turned to leave. Liam suddenly ran in front of me, blocking my path. Chloe, you're just saying things out of anger. His tone was filled with conviction, leaving me very confused. I know you're still angry about me going abroad, but I'm back now, so stop saying such things. Anger? Insincere words? I had no idea what he was talking about. I had clearly said everything I needed to say. He grabbed my wrist. This is the bracelet I gave you when we first got together. After all these years, you are still wearing it. The string is even faded. I shook his hand off, laughing to myself. In our previous life, he had given me a bracelet. It was a cheap red string bracelet he had bought at a temple when we had gone to visit a temple. Back then I had thought it was a nice gesture and wore it for a long time. But times had changed. The one I was wearing was not the one he had given me. This one was given to me by Ethan. When I had been in a car crash, I was in the hospital and unconscious. Ethan, who never believed in these things, had walked up the mountain to get me a lucky charm. You're overthinking things. This is from my husband. I threw away the one you gave me a long time ago. I don't believe it. He shouted, eyes wide. You're just trying to make me angry. Chloe, let's get a divorce. I don't mind that you're married once before. Although second marriage women aren't worth much, I don't mind. You didn't want to go abroad with me, so I'll stay here for you. I'm rich now and you don't need to work anymore. Let's have a few kids and live happily ever after. He was living in his own delusional dreams. He was giving me a headache. I sighed, feeling helpless. I will never get a divorce. You're not getting a divorce? I ignored him and walked away quickly. Okay. You'll regret it. He shouted from behind. Later, I heard from classmates that Liam had gone abroad again. Finally, he was gone. It was annoying how much he was bothering me. After he left, others came to bother me. Ever since the school anniversary, many people came to ask for my contact information, all wanting to collaborate with me. I had my assistant turn them all down. They were all just a bunch of sycophants, not reliable people for collaborations. Later, on our wedding anniversary, Ethan woke me up early. Wife, wake up. I smiled at him. So early? Can we sleep in? Ethan smiled mysteriously. No sleep. We have important things to do today. He took me to a restaurant. He had secretly prepared a surprise for me. From the moment I entered, a person would appear every step I took, giving me a gift. Each card had something about us and our happiness. Looking at Ethan's smug expression, I just felt so happy. I was so lucky to have found such a good husband as Ethan. He was there for me when I needed comfort, and he always cared about me when I needed it. I once asked him why he chose me to be his wife. He looked me in the eyes and said firmly, "Because you are worth it." Ethan said he had known me for a long time. He knew me when I was working at a restaurant. Do you know why I chose to major in management? Because I wanted to be your classmate. Because you were there. But later you got together with Liam, and I just silently blessed you. Luckily, fate was kind to me. You broke up with that scum. I was finally able to be with you. Looking at his furious expression, I thought, it was very lucky for me to meet him in this life. That day, we looked at the city's night view and spent a wonderful evening together. The next day, Liam suddenly appeared at the entrance to our company. His eyes were dark circles, his hair a mess, and he looked very tired. When he saw me coming, he stood up. You're finally back. Didn't you go abroad? What are you doing here? Liam was suddenly ecstatic. He must have misunderstood, thinking that I was caring about him, ignoring the impatience in my tone. He was noticeably happy. I was very helpless. Chloe, I came here this time to ask you to forgive me. I know you must be very angry. You're angry that I went abroad without a word, and that I used Sunny in the show. I know I was wrong. I brought an apology gift too. Saying that, he took out a jewelry box from his pocket. I glanced at it and recognized that it was the necklace Sunny had lost on the day of the school's anniversary. I'm sorry, my husband would misunderstand. I don't want to make my husband upset. Chloe. He interrupted me unhappily, his tone harsh. I have sold all my properties abroad. Now that I'm back, let's live together properly. Chloe, don't be so cold to me. It's hard for me, I know it's all my fault. I'm sorry, please forgive me, please come back to me. He began to repeat I'm sorry again and repeating to come back to him. His attitude was more humble than ever before. But it made my head hurt. It was over. I was furious. Liam, I said it last time, it's over between us. Whether you can accept this fact or not, we have no chance. Wife. Ethan walked to me holding a bouquet of flowers. These are today's roses, I wish you happiness today. Ever since we had gotten together, he had been giving me flowers or small gifts. I took the gift and hugged him. Liam looked at us, his eyes filled with disbelief. He frowned and stared intently at me. Hello. Liam left after giving me a quick greeting. Am I that scary? Ethan asked me, tilting his head. Of course not. I giggled. What were you two talking about? I saw someone apologizing, giving gifts, even talking about getting back together. He was jealous. I poked his abs. Did you hear my rejection? Since that last meeting, Liam hadn't appeared in front of me for a long time. He would always send me text messages. He was either talking about the past or apologizing to me. I was annoyed, so I would block him every time. Then he would send me another one from a new number. Again and again, he was relentless. Later, he started saying he was sick and wanted me to visit him. If he was sick, he should go see a doctor. I'm not a doctor. Helpless, I changed my phone number. Finally, I had some peace. Later, we bumped into each other at the hospital. Chloe, are you here to see me? He walked towards me quickly. Liam was wearing a patient's gown and his entire body was skin and bone. He looked very haggard. But it had nothing to do with me. No, I'm here for a checkup. The light in Liam's eyes dimmed. Then he anxiously asked, Did you come to get checked for some kind of illness? He started talking to himself again. His words didn't make sense, it might have been because of his sickness. He started talking about our wedding in our last life. I interrupted him. Liam, do you even know what you're saying? Liam was stunned, as if he was thinking about my words. When Ethan came over, he steadied me. Wife, why are you walking so fast? You didn't even wait for me. What if you bumped into something by yourself? Okay, don't be so nervous, I'm only 2 months. I need to take care of you like my own eyeballs. What would I do if something happened to you? The two of us laughed and walked out of the hospital entrance. Wife, should we go to another hospital for your pregnancy checkup? I don't want to see your ex-boyfriend every time we come here. The emphasis on the word ex-boyfriend was to tell me that he was jealous. Although he was jealous, I felt so incredibly happy. Liam suddenly shouted my name from behind. Chloe, what can I do to make you come back to me? I didn't turn back and continued walking forward. I would never go back to him. All of the past things had been over and done with. This is the life I wanted and I felt so happy. So I would cherish my current life. The end.